So Trump is about to put the FBI or the DOJ on the case of the Epstein files to see if there's any corruption when it comes to the Democratic Party trying to push out misinformation about Donald Trump. Let's tune into the video, see what's going on out here in these streets.
President Trump is directing the Justice Department to investigate Democrats allegedly connected to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Files subpoenaed from the sex offender's estate show Epstein was actively shopping his political and financial knowledge to major players even after he was convicted on sex trafficking charges. Some of Epstein's emails also reference President Trump by name. The president has denied any wrongdoing and any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Now he says questions into his relationship with Epstein are a scam, quote, with all arrows pointing to the Democrats, and that he cut ties with Epstein after Epstein's 2019 arrest. Meanwhile, a growing number of bipartisan Congress members are pressuring the Justice Department to release more of its files on Epstein. ABC News Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders and White House correspondent Karen Travers are here with more on that story. How do you both? So, Karen, what's the latest on President Trump's call to investigate Democrats he says have ties to Epstein?
This was in a social media post earlier this morning, Diane. The president says he is directing the Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Justice Department, and the FBI to investigate a list of people. He says Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, J.P. Morgan, and others to see their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And he says that the investigation at this point, or this whole issue related to him, is just a hoax. We're calling it back to the Russia investigation into him in that first term. He says, quote, all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Certainly the president is trying to shine the spotlight away from him and the messages now that have had his name in it and any connection that he has to Jeffrey Epstein, and put it on Democrats, high-profile Democrats. He has also said that Democrats have been doing this week, releasing those emails earlier and pushing for more transparency and the full release of the Epstein files in order to distract from what's actually happening in Washington. He says it's to distract from the government shutdown and the fact that they did not get any of their demands on health care when they were shutting down the government for the last couple of weeks. So again, the president trying to now call on the Justice Department to launch this investigation. We've seen him do this before. Now we have to see what the Justice Department will actually do.
Y'all let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below, man. Honestly, I'm thinking that they should just release everything and just get it out the way. Get it out the way, man. If he's guilty, then he's going to be guilty. If he's not guilty, then he's not going to be guilty. But they need to put this stuff out there. We got to know at this point. And I don't get it. I don't get why they waited so long to do all this stuff. They waited. They ran on it for the election. And now that they have the power, and they said they were going to release some files, now they're backtracking and saying they don't want to release stuff. They don't want to release certain things. And now it's all a big hoax. Nah, we really not having that. We really not hearing that. We want to know the truth. And the truth is going to eventually come out, whether it comes out this year or next year or a couple of years from now. It's going to eventually come out.
With this demand from the president.
So, Catherine, what's in these files related to President Trump, and what Democrats are named in these files?
Well, I think there's a lot going on here. I think we can't really answer that question with certainty as to what Democrats are named in the files in question that Trump is talking about. Obviously, this is all a reaction to what the House Oversight Committee released, those documents from the Epstein estate. But the point is, he's asking his Justice Department and FBI to investigate. Well, remember, they have a treasure trove of documents that they're sitting on that they haven't yet publicly released. So what exactly is the nature of that investigation? What does that mean? I know that when Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, sat with Ghislaine Maxwell down in Florida a few months back, I believe in July, he asked about specific Democrats, and Maxwell didn't have any particular recollection over some of those questions that Blanche probed her on. So the nature of the investigation, what Trump wants DOJ exactly to investigate, is pretty much entirely unclear, other than what Karen just laid out. specifically in his post, Reid Hoffman, Bill Clinton,
So
Larry Summers.
too?
I know that Blanche asked Maxwell about Clinton specifically and Hoffman. What else does the president want here? It's very clear that he just wants this probed to distract from himself being in the files, whether there's any criminal liability or not, and turn the tables and shift this over to Democrats.
And Karen, President Trump
the thing. We don't know if he's actually guilty of anything, but the way he's going about it, it's seeming a little fishy. That's why we must get these answers, because if we don't get the answers, it's still going to be up in the air that he was a part of this. So why not just clear the air? If you really not guilty, you should just come out and just clear the air. I think that's kind of the easiest way to go about this. But no, trying to say, oh, it's a hoax and it's just the Democrats, they're trying to do this and trying to do that. It's not just about the Democrats. We want to know what they doing in it too. We heard Bill Clinton's in it. We heard some top Democrats are in it too. And he had ties with both political parties. So it's important for everybody, I believe, every United States citizen to know what is really going on here with these Epstein files. And again, it's going to come out eventually, whether it's now or later. Get it out the way now. Save yourself the time, save yourself the energy. I know you still want the power, but hey, if you're a guilty man, you getting out of there for sure.
Criticizing Republicans who say they will vote to force the Justice Department to release its files on Epstein. Why?
So first you start with the 4 that voted for the discharge petition this week. And there was a pressure campaign to get some of them to switch their vote and not be in favor of that. But now next week that will go forward. And the expectation is the House will vote on that to compel the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. And it looks like you could have dozens of House Republicans voting in favor of it, maybe 40 to 50 lawmakers. The president, though, is already criticizing Republicans who have been pushing for this, saying they are weak. He says they have fallen into the clutches of Democrats because they are soft and foolish. And now the big question is, if this passes, likely passes the House, what happens in the Senate? That is much more unclear. And if it were to get across the finish line in the Senate, it is unlikely, of course, that the president would sign it.
To know what's going on.
Catherine, what are you watching for next?
Well, I think it's exactly...
That's one thing about Trump. He be saying whatever he want to say. He be forgetting, like, there's consequences to what you say, and you are the party leader, and you're calling the party idiots. Like, bro, you want my help or not? Seriously, don't call me no fool. We ain't dumb. Something's going on here. And whether you like it or not, you're involved.
What Karen just laid out there in terms of the process here. If it passes the House, goes to the Senate. If it does happen to pass in the Senate and then gets to Donald Trump's desk, will he sign this? The answer is probably not. The politics, though, are quite interesting. If it passes in both chambers of Congress, Republican-led chambers of Congress, and then makes it to the president's desk and he doesn't sign it at all, that he's going to have to answer why, and why his White House cares so much, for example, about pulling Lauren Boebert's name off of that discharge petition. Of course, she didn't ultimately do that, but if it's not that big of a deal, if they are being transparent, then why behind the scenes is it quite the opposite? So we'll have to see what happens on that front next.
All right, we will. Karen Travers, Catherine Falders,
we're going to see what happens, man. Let me know y'all thoughts about this down below in the comments. I'd really like to know y'all thoughts. Thank you guys again for tuning in. It's a little fishy, man. This is a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of freaky behavior. But honestly, the truth has to come out, and that's my opinion. And I can't wait till it comes out because we need to know. We need to close this case off, man. We got to get these freaks out of here. We got to start talking about these freaks. All right, we got to stop. We got to stop talking about these pedophiles. Real talk. Real talk. This should not be the main topic. The main topic should be getting the government back together, making sure everybody's getting money in their pockets, making sure there's jobs coming in. That should be the main conversation, not Epstein. But let me know y'all thoughts, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate y'all viewership, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if y'all are new. Until next time, man, it's your boy Dgotsauce. Peace.